Good morning from the office, North Georgia's only live online morning show. I am your host, BKP. Our number is at the bottom of the screen, 706-889-9700. You can send us a text message this morning. Tell us what you thought of the debate last night. Wait a minute. Oh, okay. I got a text message because today's Carla's Corner. Just got to make sure she's on her way. Keep an eye on the front door to let Carla in. All right. Our number is 706-889-9700, and that is chief@fetchernews.com. Let us know what you thought last night about the debate. Yes, we did watch it. I have 4 pages of notes here. Trying to go through. We watched it over at Pools Barbecue last night, and we turned the lights down. So actually, my notes, I could hardly tell what I wrote here. It's 4 pages, but let's see what we have. We'll find. Oh, you remember last night? I want to get this because I don't want to forget this because I was thinking last night. You remember when Hillary told everybody to go to her website that she had the fact checkers working, the little Keebler elves were working her fact-checking site on her website. Go to Hillary.com. The fact-checkers were working. I thought it'd be funny if the fact-checking page on Hillary's website said, "This page sponsored by the FBI. James Comey and your friends from the FBI is sponsoring this fact-checking page tonight during this debate." I thought that would have been funny. Anyhow, we're not going to get into the weeds like the other shows are getting into the weeds this morning. We're going to hit a couple things that I think are very important. Win or lose. Okay. Something that nobody has talked about on any of the morning shows that I'm aware of. I watched Morning Joe at 6 a.m. I watched Fox at 7 to listen to Donald. So I listened to the narrative, what they're putting out this morning, both campaigns, what they're looking to achieve. But what they're not telling you, and they don't want to admit it, the panic in Brooklyn on the Democrat side, Hillary Clinton last night had to shore up her base. Now all polling, now listen to me close, all polling shows that Trump's base is unified. Now, we could go all the way back to, would the party ever unify? Would they unify at the convention? Could the Republicans become unified behind this candidate? All of that. Remember, it seems like it was just yesterday that the Democrats, the Republicans would not be unified. Could they come out of the convention together? All right, so we see just a couple days ago, Glenn Beck's head spinning off as Ted Cruz endorsed Donald Trump. Almost the last of the unification process. Republicans know that, or conservatives know, evangelicals know, and they're going to get out and work. Now, let me break this down a little bit because everybody's all talking about the debate last night. If you want people to go out and flip up the windshield and slide a voter guide under the windshield wiper, those are the workers, the evangelicals. You don't see too many of the Wall Street types saying, "Hey, when I get off today, I'm going to go volunteer at the local GOP office or local grassroots committee office, and I'm going to help hand out flyers to elect candidates." Now, we're not talking down about, the men and women on Wall Street this morning, but at the same time, they're not the ones that are putting on the tennis shoes and walking the parking lots, because I know it for a fact. So Donald Trump and the Republicans are unified. Now, last night, let me open with this. Hillary needed to, stand up there for 90 minutes, look good, look healthy, not cough, and get up today. She had, that's it, for her base. See, Hillary's in trouble with her base. So last night, first and foremost, she had to unify or try to get her base behind her and excited. Not independents, not the undecided voters. She had to somehow, this is going down the road of conspiracy theory, as we all like to do from time to time, but somehow they made sure Hillary's hair was highlighted properly. It was nice. Misogyny for 200, Alex. They made sure that, you know, the neck didn't, you know, show any age. Okay, they made sure she had that proper lighting to get that nice glow on her dentures. I mean, all the above. I mean, she looked great in her red fall dictator apparel. Oh, she did. That was the whole thing. Hillary had to look good. She could not cough for 90 minutes. As silly as this sounds, this is for the Democrats. She couldn't cough. She had to look healthy. She had to look like she could live to be president. And this was for nothing else but her base. They're the ones that have a problem with their base, not the Republicans. Okay? Now, so last night, Lester Holt showed us that he could not handle the job of being moderator. Cannot handle it. He was in the tank. It's just almost like they wrote this debate together. Donald Trump had to debate Hillary, Lester Holt, and the fact checkers. I mean, Lester Holt, when you go through, if you piece together the debate, if you go through, Lester Holt, okay, several times corrected Donald Trump, followed up his questions on Donald Trump, but nothing on Hillary. And it seems like all the important things that Hillary needed to get out last night, Russia and hacking, hacking a server, not to speak of violating confidential national security interest in a personal server, but when it came to the big ticket items like, you know, getting the opportunity to say she wants to give school away for free tuition, college tuition, Russia, Putin, Trump hacking a server, racism, okay, wanted to get that out on Donald Trump, aka birther, we'll go into that later today. Wanted to get out also the fact that the looks, she didn't look presidential, okay, not to stand them and look presidential. You know, what double standard was there? I mean, you could have people that don't look presidential. I was thinking last night, I put it on Facebook last night, all of this talk about Donald Trump needed to look and act presidential. Needs to start looking and coming across presidential. And I'm thinking, who set this bar? Who set this standard in the bar of acting and looking presidential? Who did that? I don't know. William Jefferson Clinton? Well, let's ask Monica Lewinsky. Let's ask Kenneth Starr. Let's ask an impeached president that is he lost his law license, which he doesn't need to practice law anyway. But is William Jefferson Clinton the bar of looking? Did he set the bar? Or is it George W. Bush who set the bar for looking presidential? Yes, the economy, I don't care. I don't want to hear everything. The economy collapsed under George W. Bush. It did. Okay? We went in and spent $5 to $6 trillion in 2 wars and didn't get the oil. And we left national treasure on the sand and our sons and daughters' blood out there. The Americans, the kids out there, they're predominantly young people, left their blood on the sand, $5 or $6 trillion in these wars. Okay, you can argue or not. So did he set the bar of presidential? Is that what we set the bar? Or have we set the bar with Barack Obama, with Obamacare and, you know, turning your White House rainbow colors and all the above? I mean, the list goes on of setting the bar. Who set this presidential bar? Now, I have a lot to go over today. I'm going to have Carla's Corner is going to be at 8:30. At 9 o'clock, we're going to continue to recap the debate. And at 9:30, Jennifer Hazelton from the Donald Trump campaign, the communication director for the state of Georgia, will be with us at 9:30. A couple things. Let's go to the video.
So,
there we go.
Let's begin. We're calling this opening segment Achieving Prosperity, and central to that is jobs. There are two economic realities in America today. There's been a record 6 straight years of job growth, and new census numbers show incomes have increased at a record rate after years of stagnation. However, income inequality remains significant, and nearly half of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. Beginning with you, Secretary.
Okay. First of all, he starts out totally wrong with income inequality and prosperity. There's prosperity in this country, income inequality. All right. Lester Holt should do his own fact checking there as he started out. Simply the worst. Obama is the first president ever to not see one single year of 3% GDP growth. The rate of real economic growth is the single greatest determinator of both the America's strength as a nation and a well-being of the American people. Let's see, on Thursday, and this comes from us on the April 28th of 2016, on Thursday, the Commerce Department announced that the U.S. economy expanded at the slowest pace in 2 years. GDP growth rose at an anemic 0.05 rate after a paltry 1.4% growth in the fourth quarter advance. Now, maybe Lester should have started with fact-finding. He opened the debate setting everything up about it wrong. Let's see what we come up with at 12 minutes and 49 seconds. Can you go there? 12:49, hit play for me.
We would lose 3.5 million jobs and maybe have another recession. They've looked at my plans and they've said, okay, if we can do this, and I intend to get it done, we will have 10 million more new jobs because we will be making investments where we can grow the economy. Take clean energy. Some country is going to be the clean energy superpower of the 21st century. Donald thinks that climate change is a hoax perpetrated by the Chinese. I think it's real. Science is real.
I do not say that.
And I think it's important that we grip this and deal with it both at home and abroad. And here's what we can do. We can deploy 500 million more solar panels. We can have enough clean energy to power every home. We can build a new modern electric grid. That's a lot of jobs. That's a lot of new economic activity. So I've tried to be very specific about what we can and should do. And
Are those shovel-ready jobs? How do you plan to pay for any of that? What is your plan to pay for any of your new grid, your superhighway electric grid, your solar panel projects, your clean energy, after you put every coal miner out of work, every regulation that you have? What is your plan to pay for any of that? We have already had a president that had an $800 billion plus, right at $1 trillion of economic shovel-ready investment that we were supposed to start working on these things. Why do we need to keep doing them? Play it a little further.
I am determined that we're going to get the economy really moving again, building on the progress we've made over the last 8 years, but never going back to what got us in trouble.
Building on the progress we made in the last 8 years. Where is the progress? So what you're owning Obama's economy, building on the progress. Stay with that. I want to know a little more about that. Go a little further with that.
In the first place.
Mr. Trump.
She talks about solar panels. We invested in a solar company, our country. That was a disaster. They lost plenty of money on that one. Now, look, I'm a great believer in all forms of energy, but we're putting a lot of people out of work. Our energy policies are a disaster. Our country is losing so much in terms of energy, in terms of paying off our debt. You can't do what you're looking to do with $20 trillion in debt. The Obama administration, from the time they've come in,
$20 trillion in
over
debt.
230 years worth of debt, and he's topped it. He's doubled it in a...
Stop. Obama, she owned it, remember? She wants to build on. Now, Ronald Reagan had growth of 3.5%, his GDP. Now, Donald Trump wants 4% growth. Okay, but she wants to build on the last 8 years. Don't forget the last 8 years, Donald's telling you the truth. The Obama administration has basically doubled the debt. $20 trillion. Now go a little further. Go with that a little further.
Course of almost 8 years, 7.5 years to be semi-exact. So I will tell you this. We have to do a much better job at keeping our jobs. And we have to do a much better job.
All right, let's go to 1610. Let's fast forward to 1610. We got a lot to work on today.
That trade is the only challenge we have in the economy. I think it is a part of it, and I've said what I'm going to do. I'm going to have a special prosecutor. We're going to enforce the trade deals we have.
She's going to have a special prosecutor. I about fell out of my chair to enforce the trade deals that we have. Really? She's going to have a special I still can't get over that. We can't get a special prosecutor for her or any of her friends. But she's going to get a special prosecutor to enforce the trade deals. Go a little further with that.
Single worst trade deal ever approved in this country.
Incomes went up for everybody. Manufacturing jobs went up also in the 1990s, if we're actually going to look at the facts. When I was in the Senate, I had a number of trade deals that came before me, and I held them all to the Secretary of State. We actually increased American exports globally 30%. We increased them to China 50%. So I know how to really work to get new jobs and to get exports that help to create more new jobs.
Well, you haven't done it in 30 years or 26 years.
Well, I've been a senator,
You haven't done it.
And
you haven't
I have been a Secretary of State, and I have
Your husband signed NAFTA, which was one of the worst things that ever happened to the manufacturing industry.
That is your opinion.
You go to New England, you go to Ohio, Pennsylvania, you go anywhere you want, Secretary Clinton, and you will see devastation where manufacturing is down 30, 40, sometimes 50%. NAFTA is the worst trade deal maybe ever signed anywhere, but certainly ever signed in this country. And now you want to approve Trans-Pacific Partnership. You were totally in favor of it. Then you heard what I was saying, how bad it is, and you said, I can't win that debate. But you know that if you did win, you would approve that, and that will be almost as bad as NAFTA. Nothing will ever top NAFTA.
That is just not accurate. I was against it once it was finally negotiated and the terms were laid out. I wrote about that in...
You called it the gold standard.
Well, I hope...
You called it the gold standard of trade deals. You said it's the finest deal you've ever seen.
No.
And then you heard what I said about it, and all of a sudden you were against it.
Well, Donald, I know you live in your own reality, but that is not the facts. The facts are, I did say,
why did you call that out, Lester?
A good deal, but when it was negotiated, which I was not responsible for, I concluded it wasn't. I wrote about that.
So is it President Obama's fault?
Is
it President Obama's fault?
Even announced. Look, there
Secretary, is it President Obama's fault?
There are
because he's pushing it.
There are different views about what's good.
She wanted to build on the progress of the last 8 years. Donald wants to know, is it his fault? Is the Trans-Pacific Partnership Obama's fault? She wants to build on it. Is she going to go against it? Let's go to 2015. Go up to 2015. Yeah, go ahead.
Is big league, and you're going to raise taxes big league. End of story.
Let me get you to pause right there, because we're going to move into the next segment. We're going to talk taxes.
That can't be left to
Please
stand.
Take 30 seconds.
I kind of assumed that there would be a lot of these charges and claims. And so
Facts.
We have taken the homepage of my website, HillaryClinton.com, and we've turned it into a fact checker. So if you want to see in real time what the facts are, please go and take a look. Because
and take a look at mine also, and you'll see.
Add a penny to the debt, and your plans would add $5 trillion.
Lester Holt gives her an opportunity to do a commercial for her website. Now, not that Donald couldn't have, but she had an opportunity to do a commercial for her website. Check my facts. I have people working. Get to work. Let's go to 2355. 2355. 2355. I got a lot to get in this morning.
There are the haves.
You got to get past that commercial. We got to get past that commercial. Can you get past that? No. I'm sorry. That automatic. There we go.
All right. You have 2 minutes on the same question to defend tax increases on the wealthiest Americans, Secretary Clinton.
I have a feeling that by the end of this evening, I'm going to be blamed for everything that's ever happened.
Why not?
Wait, is that 2355?
Yeah, why not? You know, just join the debate by saying more crazy things. Now, let me say,
there's nothing that starts with Secretary Clinton.
All right, you have 2 minutes on the same question to defend tax increases on the wealthiest Americans, Secretary Clinton.
I have a feeling that by the end of this evening, I'm going to be blamed for everything that's ever happened.
Why not?
Why not? Yeah, why not? You know, just join the debate by saying more crazy things.
Is that 2355?
Now, let me say,
there's nothing crazy about not letting our companies bring their money back into their country.
This is Secretary Clinton's 2 minutes, please.
Yeah, well, let's start the clock again, Lester. We've looked.
Start the clock. She's telling them what to do. Told Lester what to do. Let's go to 2537. Right there. That's good.
We should be making to rebuild the middle class. I don't think top-down works in America. I think building the middle class, investing in the middle class, making college debt-free so more young people can get their education, helping people refinance their debt from college at a lower rate. Those are the kinds of things that will really boost the economy. Broad-based, inclusive growth is what we need in America, not more advantages for people at the very top.
Mr. Trump,
typical politician, all talk, no action, sounds good, doesn't work, never going to happen. Our country is suffering because people like Secretary Clinton have made such bad decisions in terms of our jobs and in terms of what's going on. Now, look, we have the worst revival of an economy since the Great Depression.
Listen.
And believe me, we're in a bubble right now. And the only thing that looks good is the stock market. But if you raise interest rates even a little bit, that's going to come crashing down. We are in a big, fat, ugly bubble. And we better be awfully careful. And we have a Fed that's doing political things. This Janet Yellen of the Fed. The Fed is doing political by keeping the interest rates at this level. And believe me, the day Obama goes off and he leaves and he goes out to the golf course for the rest of his life to play golf, when they raise interest rates, you're going to see some very bad things happen because the Fed is not doing their job. The Fed is being more political than Secretary Clinton.
Mr. Trump, we're talking about the burden that America...
Okay, that, folks, is what you will not hear on any show today. No one will touch it. No one will touch it. They will debate all day long who won and who lost this debate. They will debate the debate all day of who won and who lost. They will talk about Rosie O'Donnell. They will talk about everything there is, whether, Donald said that a woman was a fat pig. I'm serious. They will talk about how he is a racist, because they will call him a racist because of the birth certificate of the first black president. All of the above. No matter where you turn today, no one will take that comment at 25:37 into this debate and realize that may be the most important part of this entire debate. Folks, we are sitting on a bubble. We are sitting on a financial bubble that is getting ready to explode. The ones that are really doing well in this country, really, Donald Trump just told you, Wall Street, okay? That's the stock market is doing well, okay? Hillary will not touch that, will not. We're on a bubble. Obama has doubled the debt in 7.5 years. They won't touch that today, okay? Hillary wants to build on that progress. Those are key words. She wants to build on that progress. They won't touch that today, okay? They keep talking about college education tuition being free. Folks, what Hillary is trying to explain to you last night is she's trying to send code word for bailout. You don't have any more bailout money. College tuition, you got to realize, remember, I think it's July 2010. This keeps coming up. There's a reason this keeps coming up on the Democrat side. And there's a reason Donald Trump's telling you, you are on a bubble that's getting ready to explode, folks, in the worst way, okay? In the worst way is we need to unlock the door. We need to pay attention to the bubble that's going to explode in the worst way. College debt was being carried by private financial companies, okay? Private companies were carrying college debt. College debt was in the area of about $200 million. Go look it up. Go look up that in July 2010, the government took over college loans. The entire college loan program in 2010, July, was taken over by the federal government. Look that up. Look up now, college debt is over $1 trillion. Look that up, okay? Now what Donald Trump, we're going to stick on that because we're going to come back at 9 o'clock. We're going to go to Carla's Corner. But that point right there about the Federal Reserve is the comment last night that Donald Trump is the only one in this campaign has the nerve to talk about. Let me just hit a couple things here. Go back to my full screen here, and then before we go to break, go ahead and go off the debate, but we're going to get that back up in a little bit. Yellen helps Clinton dodge the bullet. This is from Politico. Federal Reserve policymakers keep their key interest rates steady, putting the central bank on the sidelines until after Election Day. Okay? This is true. Federal Reserve policymakers on Wednesday, this came out on 9/21 here recently, 9/21. Federal Reserve policymakers on Wednesday kept their key interest rates steady, avoiding a potential stock market disruption and putting the central bank on the sidelines until after the election. Federal Chair Janet Yellen also strongly rejected claims lobbied at her by GOP presidential nominee Donald Trump that she is keeping rates artificially low to boost stock prices and aid Democrats. Okay, I'm telling you now, 0.5% in the interest rate, 1% in the interest rate, this bubble bursts and we get ready to explode. Okay, because they're trying to figure out now how to get the Federal Reserve to print more money that we dropped off $1.7 billion over in Iran. You're getting ready, say Illinois, college debt. Okay, $1 trillion here, $1 trillion there. She wants to build on the progress. But folks, last night in that debate, you hear them discuss pigs, slobs, and dogs. Yes, it was very important that Lester Holt set up Hillary Clinton to be able to say and build off Donald Trump said Hillary did not look presidential. That was more important to go into pig slobs and dogs, okay? It seems like it was just yesterday we had slashers in Minnesota. Let's see, we don't talk about the slashers. It seems like it's just yesterday we had bombs in New York. It seems like it's just yesterday we had 5 shot dead in a Macy's. Well, hell, you say. It's more important to figure out if we get to the bottom of pigs, slobs, and dogs instead of slashers, bombers, and shooters, okay, in this country, and figure out why, Donald Trump wanted to see Obama's birth certificate. The Federal Reserve comment from Trump is the one that everybody is missing. He's telling the truth. I told somebody yesterday they will start using the financial system to work against Donald Trump. Watch and see what happens. I'm your host. I'm going to come back at 9, wrap up some debate points that I want to make sure we go over at 9 o'clock. And then at 9:30, we'll ask Jennifer Hazelton with the Donald Trump campaign as communication director in Georgia, what the campaign thinks about last night and their candidate's performance. I'm your host, BKP. Take us to break there, Cole.
Right now at Pizza Hut, you can get any 2 medium pizzas for $6.99 each. Get any toppings, any crust flavor, anything you want for just $6.99 each. And sweeten the deal with a Hershey's Triple Chocolate Brownie for just $5.99. Only at Pizza Hut.
What you gonna do with all that junk?
I'm Sheriff Dane Kirby, and I'll stand up for you.
I'm Stacy Nicholson, Sheriff of Gilmer County, and I will stand up for you.
Stand up and speak out. No matter how rich, cool, talented you believe yourself to be, how you treat people ultimately tells all. I am Allison Sosby, District Attorney, and I'll stand up for you.
El Rey and Ellijay.
El Rey Mexican Restaurant.
Family owned and operated, and a local favorite for families, parties, and meetings.
Great prices.
Friendly service and delicious Mexican cuisine.
Patio dining available.
Come sing in Carlos's Cantina every Friday 9 to 1.
Eat in or take away.
Same location for 14 years. Open 7 days at the corner of Maddox Drive and 515. North Georgia's favorite Mexican cuisine. El Rey and Ellijay.
The summer sell down is on at Days Chevrolet in Jasper with huge savings up to 16% off MSRP. Save over $4,100 off Malibu Limited. Now just $19,500. Save $9,500 on loaded Silverado Crew Cab LT. Now only $38,700. Save up to 16% off MSRP on select new Chevys in stock during the summer sell down. Going on now at Days Chevrolet in Jasper.
Better days ahead, Days Chevrolet.
Find new roads.
North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds. Come on in to view the area's largest selection of fine jewelry at North Georgia Diamond. All repairs and designs are done on-site by our jewelers. And North Georgia Diamond has the lowest prices on loose diamonds. You can also sell your gold, silver, and coins at North Georgia Diamond between Walmart and Lowe's in East Ellijay. Locally owned by Bill and Allison Craig, North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds in North Georgia.
Hello, America. The first ever $5 flavor menu is here, and it's a game changer. For just $5 each, you can get a medium one-topping pizza, Wing Street Wings, a Hershey's cookie, and your other Hut favorites. A Pizza Hut pizza for just $5. It's the ultimate crowd pleaser.
How are you feeling, crowd?
Very pleased, thank you.
We do what we can here.
$5 for a Pizza Hut pizza. How can we not be pleased?
Good crowd today.
The $5 flavor menu, America's best pizza deal, only at Pizza Hut.
And we're back. I'm your host, Beat KP. Good morning from the office, North Georgia's only live online morning show. We will have Jennifer Hazelton. Jennifer is the Trump campaign communication director here in Georgia. She'll be with us at 9:30. We'll ask her some questions about the debate last night. A couple things I want to go through before we go back to the video and a couple more highlights. I appreciate the emails. But in our 9 o'clock hour, if you missed my 8 o'clock opening, you know, we had a if you go to fetchernews.com and you go to the top right-hand corner and you go to our YouTube channel, last night we did there was about 15 in the group, and we did a little questions and answers from the group over at Pools Barbecue after the debate. So our post-debate discussion is online. You can find interesting comments from the ones that attended. Yes, they were in North Georgia. They're what I'm going to say one-sided. They're supporting Donald Trump. We did not have anybody in the room supporting Hillary Clinton, but you'll find some interesting comments from several conservatives, Trump supporters on Donald Trump and Hillary's performance. You can find that on fetchernews.com. It's about 20 minutes long. Go to our YouTube channel. Also, I opened up this morning by telling you a couple things you will not hear in the media. The panic in Brooklyn after the polls yesterday of Minnesota basically being tied, some polls show. Trump up in Ohio, up in Florida, basically tied in North Carolina, tied in Pennsylvania, dangerously right there in New Hampshire, even in Maine, Michigan, Colorado. Trump was up 1 yesterday. So there's so much panic in Brooklyn. And last night, Hillary Clinton had to reassure her base. Now, I'll tell you how I know that. Is because I, for one, attend a lot of events in North Georgia because it's conservative, predominantly conservative area. So I attend a lot of events. I go and sit in Tea Party meetings, and I listen in the back of the room. And there's been times when the most staunch, hard Trump supporters in closed quarters have been concerned. I mean, there's been a lot of times when those supporters of Trump have been concerned on where he stood with this campaign, with this election. So I know it happens, and I know some insight into the Democrat side of what's been taking place. And they're nervous. And behind closed doors, Democrats are concerned nationwide with Hillary Clinton's, their candidate's health, okay, stamina. You might make fun of Donald Trump saying he's got more stamina than Hillary Clinton. He is campaigning 4 times a day somewhere, three rallies a day or whatever. Hillary staying home and resting. Okay, she had to assure her base. That's where she has trouble. And I told you that when we opened this morning. The Republicans were supposed to be the party that could not unify behind their candidate. She is the one that last night had to show up and for 90 minutes, not cough, for 90 minutes, look good, and I think they did an outstanding job on the lighting. Now, I know people are going to say, well, why don't you talk more about the substance of the debate? But the reality was, Hofstra University, I'm not saying they were in on anything. Lester Holt, the lighting people, the Democrats, she had to look equal in stature to Donald Trump. She had to look good. The lighting had to be right. Her hair had to be highlighted. You name it, everything had to be perfect because she had to come away in 90 minutes saying, look, I had pneumonia, okay, to her base. I had pneumonia. I'm okay. I promise I can do the job. And she did that. Whether you like it or not, she did that. But here, we're not concerned. We're not concerned. We don't want you concerned about anything last night. Trump did fine. We knew that he was going to have to debate Lester Holt. Now, I did not. I have to make an admission. Last Friday on our all-star panel, Bruce asked me, what do you think about Lester Holt? And I paused and I said, I'm going to give Lester Holt a chance. I'm going to give him a chance. I'm okay with him. I'm going to give him a chance. I said that. I didn't go after him. I didn't say, hey, he's a Democrat. Hey, he's a part of the corrupt media. I didn't do that. I said, hey, I'm going to give Lester a chance. I wanted to give him a chance. 5 minutes before the debate started, 5 minutes last night at Pools Barbecue, Stephen Aaron looked at me. He's the chairman of the Gilmer County Republican Party. He looked at me and he said, what do you think about Lester Holt? And I paused and I said, I'm going to give him a chance. I'm going to give him a chance. I'm going to give Lester a chance. I gave Lester a chance. Lester blew it last night. Absolutely blew it. If you can watch this over and over and not see the setup, okay, that Lester Holt put into play. I have moderated several debates. And I watched how he made sure he had certain things covered. Donald Trump had to walk away as a racist. He got it in. Donald Trump had to have Donald Trump walk away as a, misogynistic for 200, Alex. He got it in. How he treats women, racism, misogyny, all the above. His temperament. Could he handle the nuclear weapons codes? He got it in. So anyhow, let me read this. I want to do a little more off the debate. So go ahead and put the video up, but don't go anywhere with it yet. Let me read this email real quick. Rich from Florida. This is from Rich from Florida. Sent this to me this morning. If the Trump campaign believes that anyone, I mean anyone from the mainstream liberal media, which is controlled by the Democrat Party, is going to help Donald Trump get elected, they are living in fantasy land. The campaign should have known the moderator is going to do everything in his power without looking bad to help Hillary Clinton. He did do that. You are right, Rich. He did that. They should have known that, but there's been so much. Maybe the Trump campaign fell a little bit for the look presidential. Don't go after her. Maybe they did, but you're right on that. Donald should have nailed her on the gun and drug issue. This is Rich from Florida. 75% of the drugs are coming from Mexico. 95% of the guns are stolen that the gangs are using, some coming from Mexico. He could have personalized the economy story by mentioning a family of coal miners or factory workers who lost their jobs due to Obama's Democrat Party regulations, which is killing the energy industry, and named a factual policy. He should have nailed her by saying raising taxes on more companies, which is her plan, will do nothing more than drive them overseas, ask the CEOs. Trump also needs to be more patient and not interrupt, okay? I think the double standard is treating her like the woman that women don't want to be treated like. I'm serious. I mean, women want and equals want to be equal, so they want to go up to the water cooler, and they don't want treated different when they walk up to the water cooler. If two guys are giving each other, you know, a hard time over something, or picking on each other just because you walk up to get a glass of water, they don't say, well, they don't want a double standard. So you just can't win. Well, that's a whole different show in itself, right? He shouldn't have interrupted because because other women are going to look, are more worried. Some women are worried about how Clinton was treated than the facts of what is going on. I agree with you, Rich. Maybe some women are worried about how she was treated. For me, nothing has changed. I would not vote for a Democrat if they were the last person standing. The Republican candidate is at war with the liberal machine called the Democrat Party. This woman is a pathological liar and has gotten away with it. Rich from Florida, thank you very much. You can send those emails to me, chief@fetchernews.com. Sometimes I don't get a chance to read them on the air, but I do read them throughout the day, chief@fetchernews.com, or text me 706-889-9700. Let's go to, I don't know where we left off, but there's a couple things I want to do before that. Let's go to 2715 and play that.
That's where we're at right now.
Americans have to pay, yet you have not released your tax returns. And the reason nominees have released their returns for decades is that voters will know if their potential president owes money to, who owes it to, and any business conflicts. Don't Americans have a right to know if there are any conflicts of interest?
I don't mind releasing. I'm
Stop.
under a...
It's the tax returns, folks. It's not the FBI report. It's not James Comey. It is the tax returns. Don't the American people have the right to know if their potential presidents have any conflicts of interest? Maybe in the 33,000 emails, we could find out if the other one, that actually is right over my head, might have any conflicts. Lester Holt wants to know, doesn't the American people deserve to know, sir, your tax returns? Now, forget the fact that there's 33,000 missing emails and all of her friends pleaded the fifth, but don't the American people deserve to know if there's any conflicts of interest? I agree with you, Lester. All right, play that a little further.
Routine audit, and it'll be released. And as soon as the audit's finished, it'll be released. But you will learn more about Donald Trump by going down to the federal elections, where I filed a 104-page, essentially financial statement of sorts, the forms that they have. It shows income. In fact, the income, I just looked today, the income is filed at $694 million for this past year. $694 million. If you would have told me I was going to make that 15 or 20 years ago, I would have been very surprised. But that's the kind of thinking that our country needs. When we have a country that's doing so badly, that's being ripped off by every single country in the world, it's the kind of thinking
Hillary has
that
no
our
idea.
country
She does
needs,
not
because
understand what he's
everybody,
saying.
Lester,
She's
we have
never
a trade deficit
had a job
with all of the countries that we do business with,
and created
of almost
wealth or created a job. She's looking like I have no idea what you're talking about.
Who's negotiating these trade deals? We have people that are political hacks negotiating our trade deals.
The IRS has an audit of your taxes. You're perfectly free to release your taxes during an audit. So the question is, the public
at 29. Hold on, stay there. Go up to 29. Stop at 29.
I know a lot of wealthy people that have never been audited. I said, do you get audited? I get audited almost every year. And in a way, I should be complaining. I'm not even complaining. I don't mind it. It's almost become a way of life. I get audited by the IRS, but other people don't. I will say this. We have a situation in this country that has to be taken care of. I will release my tax returns against my lawyer's wishes. When she releases her 33,000 emails that have been deleted, as soon as she releases them, I will release my tax returns. And that's against my lawyers. They say, don't do it. I will tell you this. No, in fact, watching
that's funny
shows,
to Hillary.
reading
That's
the
humorous
papers,
to her.
almost every lawyer says, you don't release your returns until the audit's complete. When the audit's complete, I'll do it. But I would go against them if she releases her email.
So it's negotiable?
It's not negotiable. No, let her release the email. Why did she delete 33,000?
Well, I'll let her ask that, but let me just admonish the audience one more time. There was an agreement. We did ask you to be silent, so it would be helpful for us. Secretary Clinton.
Well, I think you've just seen another example of bait and switch here. For 40 years, everyone running for president has released their tax returns. You can go and see nearly, I think, 39, 40 years of our tax.
Stop right there. Bait and switch. You have seen another Donald Trump bait and switch. Really? We need to see his tax returns. Let's go up to 31 minutes and 40 seconds because I'm almost out of time this morning.
And the financial disclosure statement, they don't give you the tax rate. They don't give you all the details that tax returns would. And it just seems to me that this is something that the American people deserve to see. And I have no reason to believe that he's ever going to release his tax returns because there's something he's hiding. And we'll guess. We'll keep guessing.
There's something he's hiding. I tell you, I would love to just put this on for an hour and a half and just stop and just let it play and just stop it. There's something he's hiding. Now, if we had a media today that was worth anything, and I mean worth anything, they would pick this apart when this woman has the nerve to say that Donald Trump, there's something he's hiding. Now, unless Donald Trump has called his accountants and said, hey, can we wash the server clean with bleach bit? And can we get immunity for Brian Pagliano, Cheryl Mills, Uma Abedin? Unless some of these things have happened, who's hiding what, Hillary? There's something he's hiding. I mean, the nerve of this woman to stand on stage and say that there's something Donald Trump is hiding. Go ahead, play it a little further.
At what it might be that he's hiding. But I think the question is, were he ever to get near the White House, what would be those conflicts? Who does he owe money to? Well, he owes you the answers to that, and he should provide them.
He also raised the issue of your emails. Do you want to respond to that?
I do. You know, I made a mistake using a private email.
That's for sure.
And if I had to do it over again, I would obviously do it differently. But I'm not going to make any excuses. It was a mistake, and I take responsibility for that.
Mr. Trump?
That was more than a mistake. That was done purposely.
That's right.
Okay, that was not a mistake. That was done purposely. When you have your staff taking the Fifth Amendment, taking the Fifth, so they're not prosecuted. When you have the man that set up the illegal server taking the Fifth, I think it's disgraceful. And believe me, this country thinks it's disgraceful. It really thinks it's disgraceful also.
That's exactly right. Why these clips? I would love to do the hour and a half and just go over every single thing. Why these clips alone are not being played. The American people do know the truth, Hillary, that you and your people, you want a special prosecutor to enforce trade deals. We want a special prosecutor to prosecute you, Cheryl Mills, Uma Abedin, Brian Pagliano, the list goes on. That's what we want. You had your people plead the Fifth and Donald Trump's hiding something? Donald Trump's hiding something? You had your people clean off your email server, 33,000 emails, and Donald Trump. Why this is not playing today, the corruption? Go ahead, play that a little further.
So, as far as my tax returns, you don't learn that much from tax returns, that I can tell you. You learn a lot from financial disclosure, and you should go down and take a look at that.
Stop.
The other thing.
We don't learn a lot from the tax return. I would like to first ask Hillary to get the 33,000 emails out and then we'll look at the tax returns. Let's go up to 5338, because I only got a couple minutes before Jennifer Hazelton joins us. 5338. I get 53.
Creating jobs. Because I want all over the place. I agree.
50,
work as well. Look, one murder is too many.
All right, go.
But it is important that we learn about what has been effective and not go to things that sound good that really did not have the kind of impact that we would want. Who disagrees with keeping neighborhoods safe? But let's also add, no one should disagree about respecting the rights of young men who live in those neighborhoods. And so we need to do a better job of working again with the communities, faith communities, business communities, as well as the police to try to deal with this problem.
This conversation is about race, and so, Mr. Trump, I have to ask you.
But I'd like to just respond, if I might.
Please, 20 seconds.
I'd just like to respond.
Please respond, then I've got to follow up.
Look, the African-American community has been let down by our politicians. They talk good around election time, like right now, and after the election, they said, see you later, I'll see you in 4 years. The African-American community. Look, the community within the inner cities has been so badly treated. They've been abused and used in order to get votes by Democrat politicians, because that's what it is. They've controlled these communities for up to 100 years.
Mr. Trump,
unbroken. And I will tell you, you look at the inner cities, and I just left Detroit, and I just left Philadelphia, and I just, you've seen me. I've been all over the place. You decided to stay home, and that's okay. But I will tell you,
get your rest.
I've been all over, and I've met some of the greatest people I'll ever meet within these communities, and they are very, very upset with what their politicians have told them and what their politicians have done.
Mr. Trump,
I think Donald just criticized me for preparing for this debate. And yes, I did. And you know what else I prepared for? I prepared to be president. And I think that's a good thing.
That's the scariest line she used.
For 5 years, you perpetuated a false claim that the nation's first black president
was not
a natural-born citizen. You questioned his legitimacy. In the last couple of...
Just a second, go back.
We settled the suit with... Take a look at CNN last week, the interview with your former campaign
I was
manager.
At 5338.
And she was involved.
Us in our great country jumped to conclusion about respecting the rights of young men who live in those neighborhoods. And so we need to do a better job of working again with the communities, faith communities, business communities, as well as the police to try to deal with this problem.
This conversation is about race, and so, Mr. Trump, I have to ask you.
But I'd like to just respond, if I might.
Please, 20 seconds.
I'd just like to respond.
Please respond, then I've got to follow up.
Look, the African-American community has been let down by our politicians. They talk good around election time, like right now, and after the election, they said, see you later, I'll see you in 4 years. The African-American community, look, the community within the inner cities has been so badly treated. They've been abused and used in order to get votes by Democrat politicians, because that's what it is. They've controlled these communities for up to 100 years.
Mr. Trump,
I
will
get
tell
ready
you,
to pause it, though.
You look at the inner cities, and I just left Detroit, and I just left Philadelphia, and I just, you've seen me. I've been all over the place. You decided to stay home.
Stay there.
I
know we're hearing it again.
But I will tell you, I've been all over, and I've met some of the greatest people I'll ever meet within these communities, and they are very, very upset with what their politicians have told them and what their politicians have done.
Mr. Trump,
I think Donald just criticized me for preparing for this debate. And yes, I did.
Well,
and you know what else I prepared for?
Again,
I prepared to be president. And I think that's a good thing.
Pause it. All right. Now, Lester Holt is getting ready. If you have not caught on by now in this debate that Lester Holt was in the tank, listen to the exact words he uses to Donald Trump. knowing the fact checks that Hillary Clinton had as much to do with this in her debates against then Senator Obama. Listen.
Mr. Trump, for 5 years, you perpetuated a false claim that the nation's first black president was not a natural-born citizen. You questioned his legitimacy. In the last couple of weeks, you acknowledged what most Americans have accepted for years. The president was born in the United States. Can you tell us what took you so...
I'll tell you just very simple to say.
Why was that in there
Sidney
last
Blumenthal
night?
works for the campaign and very close friend of Secretary Clinton. And her campaign manager, Patty Doyle, went to, during the campaign, her campaign against President Obama, fought very hard. And you can go look it up and you can check it out. And if you look at CNN this past week, Patty Solis Doyle was on Wolf Blitzer saying that this happened. Blumenthal sent McClatchy, highly respected reporter at McClatchy, to Kenya to find out about it. They were pressing it very hard. She failed to get the birth certificate. When I got involved, I didn't fail. I got him to give the birth certificate. So
why was that important last night, Lester? Why was that important? I wonder if Hillary's fact finding page on her website has all the details about Blumenthal and what she did in the investigation she did into the first black president of the United States when she was running against him as Senator Barack Obama. Wonder if that's on her fact sheet. Why was that important? We're going to go take a break, and when we come back, we're going to have Jennifer Hazelton on, and Jennifer is the communication director for the Donald Trump campaign here in Georgia. Let's see what she has to say about the performance last night for her candidate. I'm your host, BKP. Join us. Stay with us. We'll have Jennifer Hazelton with us right after this break.